Do you know the 14 traits of successful chiropractors? We've interviewed some of the top chiropractors in the industry and have identified the common traits that they all share. Jump on over to www.chirobusinessmojo.com to get your free report today.
Welcome to the Chiro Business Mojo podcast, where we deconstruct the methods, marketing, and mindset of successful business people and chiropractors from around the world. And now your host, Dr. Richard Day.
Yes, it's true. I am Dr. Richard Day, and this is the Chiro Business Mojo podcast. Thanks so much for spending some of your very valuable time with me here today. Well, if I sound a little hoarse, it's because I've just come back from spending a couple of hours in a very crowded restaurant with a bunch of chiropractic students. What we talked about was philosophy, our core principles, our core values, and our authentic self. And so I thought that would be a good jumping off point for what I want to talk about today, and that is getting in touch with your authentic self. I've talked about it on the show before, guests have talked about it on the show before, and it's really an important concept. What does it mean? It means that if you are not your authentic self, you are not living the life you really want. Are you a pleaser? Are you trying to please other people? Are you really doing things that aren't true to your real core values, your inner self? Now, the authentic self, this can be a tough thing. Why? Because in life we are so many different things to so many different people. That makes it really tough to figure out who is the real me and what is my authentic voice. Well, this is not a new thing. Philosophers have wrestled with this for decades, hundreds of years. Rousseau, Camus, Maslow, May, countless others. They've all looked at this question and said, how are we uniquely us? What makes us authentic? Well, philosophynow.org sums it up this way. Becoming authentic is an individual mission, since each person has their own way of being human, and consequently, what is authentic will be different for each individual. They go on to say, but the unique nature of each individual is best seen not in who he is, but who he becomes, and becoming authentic is a continuous process, not an event. I think that's such a great way to talk about this. You know, I often tell my patients that getting well is a process, not an event. So the analogy runs deep. It's really the same thing in terms of who we are and who we are developing ourselves to be. So if you're a new practitioner and you're trying to really figure out your place, shadow other folks, go be around other people who have different styles, different personalities, different ways of treating, different practice philosophies, all of those things, and figure out what it is you want to be. What about those individuals resonates with you? That will help clarify and develop your authentic voice. And if you've been in practice a while, take everything down to its most simplest form. In your heart of hearts, if you were to leave this earth tomorrow, what are the most important things you would want to do? What are the most important things you would want to say, and who would you want to say those things to? I know it's your loved ones and your family. What are the core values that you have, the things that you've left unsaid, that you haven't expressed to others? Who are you as you relate to other people? How would you want to be remembered? This is your true you. This is your core you. Now extrapolate from that how you can relate to your patients. How can you have conversations with your patients? How do you best want to relate to everyone that comes into your office? So if you're struggling, if you're trying to find a way to change up what you've been doing for years and you're not happy with where you are, start at the core. Go down to the basics. Figure out what makes you tick, what makes you get up every day in your life and fight. Then take that and move outward from that. Approach others with that ideal, with those values, and with that way of thinking. And do this constantly. Always be looking at who you are and reevaluating who you are and who you want to be and moving in that direction. I know that I have changed many times over the years, and the Dr. Richard Day I am today is not the same Dr. Richard Day that existed 5 years ago or 2 years ago even. And if you're able to develop this authenticity about yourself, if you're always working on it, this can lead to better coping strategies, a stronger sense of self-worth, more confidence, and a higher likelihood to follow through on your goals. You have to have this. You have to work on this, and it has to be something that you do daily. And now I want to shift and talk about something different, and that is this. Since this podcast's inception, I have been doing 5 days a week. Well, that is about to change. I'm going to go down to 3 days a week. And the reason why is I am very excited to start working on the next phase of Chiro Business Mojo, which includes resources for you guys, materials and links and webinars designed to really help you take things to the next level. But to get those put together, I need more time. We will still feature great guests who are informative, helping you every day in what it is you do every day. And I will still jump in occasionally to talk about the lessons I've learned and the things I am applying in practice every day that are working for me. So don't think of this as the end of anything. It's really just the beginning of the next phase of Chiro Business Mojo. Thanks so much for your time and attention today. I hope you have found value in the things I've talked about today, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Thanks for listening to the Chiro Business Mojo podcast at www.chirobusinessmojo.com.